I've said before, I partaked in the degeneracy of the hookup culture. Um, I think what I've done in my past would have, if I was a woman, would have affected me way worse than has affected me now. I think that how it affected me was the trust and seeing things. I mean, you see reality, but it's like you don't trust people as much. Being involved in that type of situation, and there's red pill guys that I really respect. I think they have a lot of good points. Um, they have a lot of good content. Um, and as a man, you're always looking for, like, you're always appreciating a woman. Not just the one you're with. If when you're with somebody, you get a ego trip. Um, it fills your ego, and it is kind of like monkey branching too. And that's the thing is these guys complain about women monkey branching, but guys do it too. I had the mindset like when I was dating heavily, my mindset was maybe I can find something better. Maybe I can find something way better. I don't want to settle for this. I'm gonna find something better. That was my mindset. Well, that's the same type of mindset as a female. That they say that are female, like hypergamy. Guys are hypergamous too. These people who complain about the degeneracy in women nowadays are perpetuating the cycle of degeneracy and how they make fun of guys that allow their woman to go out and be with other men. They are promoting the same type of lifestyle, but they're being, instead of being attached to that woman, they're just their own person. Um, what is the difference if some dude's wife just went out and banged another dude and then he bangs her the next day or something? What's the difference between that and the hookup culture? Um, I could bang this one girl this tonight, but she might have banged another guy yesterday. So isn't that cuckery? I mean, that's cuck too, right? What's the difference? There's not a lot of difference. Um, they say, I just want to teach guys to get laid. Well, maybe you should teach guys to uh, 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 respect women and try to find the right person for you. If you want to destroy a society, yeah, you should perpetuate the hookup culture. Um, and why are women like this? Because of men. Men have allowed this. If men would value themselves and they didn't back in the day, they valued their actual family instead of like drinking all the time and being immature and trying to cheat on their wife or beat their wife. If they actually valued their family instead of doing that, because men were the ones that were splitting off from the females initially. That's why all these laws came up, which are out of date for sure. But immature men are the ones that caused these laws to go in act because guys wouldn't stay with their family. Um, I think that it's, some people say it's not natural to be with just one person your whole life. If you want to live in a civilized society, I think it's essential to have marriage type of situation. Now, I'm not saying like you need the government involved. I think the government needs to stay out of people's marriages and their lives and stuff. But to have that bond with one person your whole life and understanding like it evolves, it's not just going to be the honeymoon for the rest of your life. The only way to sustain a constant honeymoon phase is cycling out partners, and that is not healthy for kids. That's not a healthy environment for kids to be raised in. People want to understand why we have mental illness nowadays. It is there's so much anxiety when your parents split up. There's so much thrown onto you as a child. You think it's your fault. And then they bring somebody else in the picture. And you automatically are bitter to that person because they're standing in the way of your parents getting back together. That's where a lot of this toxicity in our culture comes from nowadays, is because of the breakup of the family. Back when I was a kid and years before that, what I went through was traumatic. Nowadays it's very mild because it's just normal for people not to stay together anymore. And that's not healthy for the kids. It's so unhealthy for the child to go back and forth from parent to parent. Their rules are one way this over here. There are a different set of rules over here. Maybe one parent is more lenient because they don't see the kid as much, so they kind of treat them like a friend. They don't want to discipline that kid. It's unhealthy. It's so unhealthy. The whole A big portion. I know I'm simplifying. That's what I usually do. I simplify everything, but it's the breakdown of the family, and that's why we're in this position. You don't have a father figure to teach the kids to respect the mom, and that's huge. That's why you see these single moms, their kids just don't listen to them when they get to be big. They don't care. Like, I'm bigger than you. I can take you down. Who the hell are you to tell me what to do? And then their kids end up out of control. A lot of the people in prison come from single moms. If men nowadays actually could control themselves sexually and stop participating in the hookup culture, women would follow because women follow the men. Now, I know in this society they're not following us, they don't appreciate us. That's because they're pampered, everything is just given to them. There's a lot of ways out for them. But the reason why we're here is because of weak men that are afraid to stand up to their woman. And that's what happens with a man that puts up with another man being with his wife. I was in this position myself at one point. I had no proof that she was cheating on me, but I knew. I knew, and I still don't have no proof. I'm not even trying. I just assumed that she did, but um, I'm sure she was with other men anytime we broke up. Now, my whole point is when these red pill guys are like, you need to spin plates, which I understand what they're saying is like, you want to improve yourself, and all this. That's great. That's great. The problem is, you can't sit here and put the example out of being promiscuous and then expect the person you're with to not be promiscuous too, because you're setting that example. You're gonna go talk to all these girls, blah 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 blah, act immature, go to the bar when you're a grown person. Like, the whole bar thing is just so dumb to me, but I don't know. People like to do it, but it is what it is. When you got a family at home, like if you're just a regular single person, that's one thing, but when you got a family at home, why the hell are you going to the bar? Kids need stability. They don't need rapid changes all the time. They need stable houses. And if you have different partners coming in and out of their lives, it's so confusing for these kids. And it's traumatic. I think it's best for the. I think this is a perfect scenario. Now you can switch out the roles of a male or a female or whatever. But the perfect scenario would be the man goes to work and works a regular job, brings home the money, and the woman stays home and raises her kids instead of as soon as she can pawn them off onto grandparents, aunts, uncles, daycare, so she can go pursue her career. And I think that a woman can go and pursue her career after she's raised her kids. Why don't you want to develop an emotional bond with your kids? Why don't you want to homeschool them and teach them yourself? And that's huge. When the mom does this, what it does is it creates an abandonment issue. And some women can't. Some women don't have a choice because maybe they did maybe they did choose a piece of trash man to have children with, um, which is a bad choice. But you know, people need to be more wise about who they have kids with, and get to know these people instead of like spreading your legs or spreading their legs. Get to know these people, spend some time with them, appreciate them a little bit. Don't rush it. Everyone wants to rush it. I did it before. It's a really easy thing to fall into. I remember like I've had a lot of one night stands, and I've actually when I've went on dates with women, I've had to hold myself back from the one night stands because I knew mentally if I did that I wouldn't want to talk to them no more. So I would be she would be willing to. I don't know you're bragging. I'm not bragging. I'm just saying like she would be willing to do stuff, but I had to stop myself so I wouldn't get this. I need to get to know her better so I would appreciate her more. It's weird how that works. It's just like you lose respect for me, and you don't really. It's as soon as you do your thing as a man, what happens is you like completely sober up. You're all like horny drunk, and then once you're done, once you release, you sober up like instantaneously, and you're like, how the hell do I get away from this person? I don't even know who the hell this is. Um, but yeah, it, this is a huge reason why our society is toxic, and it's, the narcissistic people like we're more about individualism instead of promoting families. This isn't a family friendly environment. Um, Whatever the left is pushing is unsustainable. Um, if you do a certain thing, get a surgery, and become something else, you basically can't have kids no more. If you are, if you're into the same people, you know what I'm talking about. You can't have kids unless you adopt, or artificially inseminate somebody. So their lifestyle is unsustainable and it's not going to last long. Um, it's a self-correcting problem. Um, the problem is when you get your kids influenced by all that stuff. And kids that don't have a good role model in the house, a good protector. There's so much a man provides to the house other than just somebody who brings in money as a workhorse league. If somebody breaks in, he's the first to face them, he's the first to protect the family. Hardly at all is the woman going to step up and be like, no, go ahead and go back to sleep, hon. I'll take care of this. No, it's you hear a boom in the night. The man gets up and goes sees what it is. The woman sits back and probably goes with the kids and ready to, she can get his back or whatever, but he's usually the first line of defense. He puts himself, he's going to die for his family. He puts himself in harm's way. There's a lot of discipline that a man brings to the family. Like I said, teaches the kids to respect the mom, shows how to treat a woman. And when kids don't have this structure, they're very influenced by different types of things, I think. And they're very susceptible to different influences. Like for me, I didn't really have a masculine influence when I was a teenager, which I think is probably the most important part. You definitely need a man to come in and out of the man to be in the kids' lives when they're little, but I think it's more important for the woman to be there. As the kids get older into their teens, I think it's more important for the man to show the stability there and present the masculinity and the example. But a lot of kids aren't getting that, and they're definitely not getting it nowadays. It's going to get worse and worse and worse. And the only way that I see that this problem is corrected is if one of these generations decides to, like, kind of like I did, go against the grain, and it's extremely hard, and be like, it's kind of like your parents smoking. Both your parents smoke, your whole family smokes. Chances are you're going to end up smoking too. It's hard to go against that. Or alcoholism. It's hard to go against that. You go to parties, even if you move out, you come back, you go to Christmas, they're all drinking and stuff. It's hard to go against that. Because this programming that you've been fed your whole life, most people won't be like, I want better for my kids. It's the whole better for my kids over the last, I don't know, 40, 50, 60, 70 years is I want my kids to have better off when it comes to material things. Well, kids mostly in America nowadays are pretty well taken care of material wise, but they're missing good examples and they're missing family structure. Their parents just give them devices when they were kids. They don't teach them nothing. They don't interact with them. They don't talk to them. They don't spend any time with them. Provide any type of different experiences for them. Their whole experience is on in front of a screen, which I don't have any problem with kids having screens in front of them, but I just think there needs to be some kind of a balance to everything. I think that's a big reason why we have so many mental problems for the next generation. Or this generation, or the last generation, the generation before that. It's like this mindset of, I bought you this. I spent my time away from you to buy you material things, but that kid just wanted you to be around. That kid didn't care about, when you open up all these presents at Christmas, little kids, like little toddlers, they don't want to open up all the other presents. They open up that first one and they're like, "Oh, I want to play with this. And then like the parents are like, "No, no, no, I'll play it." Keep it open in your present, and the kid just becomes overwhelmed. When that kid would have just been happy with that first present. Spoiling kids. So the some generation has to either wake up and realize I want better for my kids um as where it comes to teaching them morals, respect, and not so much material things. Material things come and go. Um, they don't make you happy long term. You're gonna have to keep replacing it, and it's just an endless cycle of, oh, what's the new thing? Or, which is more likely for this society, for them to people to change, is economic suffering. And it's not just the bottom people who have been suffering, it's the whole the whole kit and caboodle suffering. Which could happen. I'm hearing all, oh, the banks are gonna collapse. This is like, could be, yeah, could be. I don't think our government's gonna let it happen. I think our government will completely socialize all the banks and cause hyperinflation before they'll let those things fail. Um, but and it could be around the corner. I just don't think that we're gonna go through a crash right now. They're saying it's gonna happen, but I hear a lot of things that people have been saying for a while. Um, but it could happen. I don't know. Maybe the banks collapse today. Who the hell knows? And then our dollar becomes worthless. At some point, it's gonna happen. I know that. At some point, our dollar will become worthless. I was looking up the Zimbabwe dollar, right? Well, you can buy off of eBay. You can actually buy their money, and you can buy like 5 billion, like 50 billion or $500 billion currency. I thought it'd be kind of funny to be able to own that. I'm a millionaire. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm a millionaire in Zimbabwe. What that doesn't mean nothing, but it's just funny to have like that currency that says like 100 trillion. Like you can buy like 100 or $500 trillion notes. Um, for like $100 or something like that. That just shows you how if you just go look into it, because their money devalued like so quick within like a month, or like not a month but like a year or two, just like it was pretty much done. I think it was like 2007 to like 2009 is just when it pretty much, they just kept printing more money, kept printing more money over there. And you can see the devaluation of our dollar over the time. And I don't know, it's weird, but that's when people wake up, when they actually have to go through some, because I sit down here and complain about first world problems and things like that, but I ain't starving, my kids ain't starving, we got clean water, we got heat, we got a roof over our head, um we got entertainment, we got power. We're living probably, even though I live in like a $600 house that I rent, 2 bedroom house, it's probably like almost 100 years old. It's still better than most people on this planet. I'm living like a king, and it doesn't seem like that, because what happens is I'm comparing myself to other people in our current society. I don't compare myself, and that's the problem. Is we Americans just compare ourselves to other people in our society instead of like comparing ourselves to people who are really live in dirt huts, um, sleep on the floor of like the dirt, and that's how a lot of people live. We don't see that, so we automatically just kind of like we put on blinders, and we kind of stop appreciating what you have. And this could happen to anybody, even the person coming from like the lowest standard of living on this planet. If they lived, if their life became more luxurious, at some point they'll get comfortable with that, and they'll stop appreciating what they have. This is just human nature. Um, but yeah, we want to correct this problem. Um, the school massacres. The first thing that we can do is put security in all these schools, every single school. Take away all of our soldiers from different countries, bring them home, stop sending money to other countries for their wars, invest here, protect our kids here first. They're our future. They should be the most important things that we're protecting, we're investing in. Um, Getting rid of guns ain't going to stop gun violence. People will be able to get their hands on whatever. If they can't use a gun, they'll use a knife, they'll use a bomb, they'll use a car. It doesn't matter. People will say other societies are a lot less gun violence there. Well, people still kill people there. They're still bad people. And if you take our guns away, people who are bad people aren't going to care about your gun laws. They're still going to have a gun. Um, you can see the drug problem we have. Um, Bad people are going to have guns, and good people with guns stop those people. When it comes to the mental illness, um, we need to bring families back, and people need to try to get involved more in communities that aren't in big cities. They need to start more like type of Amish type of communities. Maybe not like completely live in the 1800s like they are, but I'm saying like small communities that are like minded. Um, because we become more and more separated. We dehumanize other people. I'm on Twitter. I'm a giant jerk on there. I'm not going to say I'm not. But I'm not like that in real life. In real life, I give people respect. I give everyone respect. But on there, I talk a lot of smack, and a lot. That's what people do. It's a toxic environment, and the reason why we do it is because if those people were in front of us, we wouldn't be doing that. It's like a buffer, kind of like internet dating. It's a buffer. They can't directly hurt you physically right now. They're not a threat right now. Can be, not right now, but if you get doxxed or whatever. But we're being separated more and more, and it's getting worse and worse. And I like technology. For me, it's good. For raising a family, I don't think it. I think that you want to be more humble and accept more of a lower standard of living when it comes to uh, what's more important, material shit and oppressing other people, or taking care of your kids and raising your kids and raising them with morals and spending time with them and developing an emotional connection with them and not letting them feel abandoned. When they're little, that is like the prime time they need their parents, especially their mother, there. You can't have it all. You can't have a healthy family, have an awesome career, have awesome friends, and do yourself. You need to pick. This is why I say, like, women, if you want to be a boss bitch, go do it. That's cool. But you're probably not going to have a good family life. You're going to spend all your youth, your best years, slaving away like a man. And by the time you get to be at like 30, 35, 40, you're done. You can't have kids no more. You got to use that time to find a good man to have kids with. When they get to be old enough, you got another like 40, 50 years to work a career. Why would you want to waste your time when you're young? Plus, your interests might be different when you're older than they were when you were young. Our interests change in your life. Things that you're interested in when you're younger, you're not as much interested in now. I used to love skateboarding. I don't skateboard no more. Um, I used to love music a lot more than I love it now, even though I do create it now. But I used to love it so much more when I was a kid. Um, but but things change. You know, you grow up, you actually do some living in your life besides. And it's crazy. Like that's why I say find a good man that you can trust. That he's not going to go nowhere. He's going to be a good father to your kids, be a good husband to you, and provide for you guys. You're gonna be if you don't if you're like, oh, I don't want to be under man's, I don't want to be under any man's rule. Well, you're gonna be under someone's rule, whether it's your husband or your boss at work. And I'm gonna tell you right now, your boss at work don't give a damn about you, and they'll replace you in an instant. If you was to die, they'll replace you the next day, and then people and it'll go on without you, and they won't even give a damn. Some of the people will give a damn, but they'll forget about you, and you'll become less and less relevant. There was a new guy at my work. He ended up killing himself, and nobody remembers that guy. Nobody talks about that guy. If like wherever I worked in my past, they don't talk about me no more. They don't remember me. You know, you get new people, whatever presence you had before is going to be gone. These people don't even know who the hell I am. So, like, even my old coworkers might remember me, but they talk about me with the new people are like, who the hell is that guy? Like, whatever. But if you got a good man, you spend some time not at the clubs, not getting drunk and wasted with your. One of the worst things I'm gonna tell females this. The worst advice you can get is from your single girlfriends. That's the worst advice because they're gonna tell you the worst things, man. Like they want you single too. They're miserable. They want you in the same boat they are. They don't want to see you with a family and happy with a good man. They want you to be out in the streets like they are, living that fast life. Well, that fast life comes to an end. You're gonna want to come. It's just female nature, and I'm not saying all. There's some women that like that fast life, and they don't want to. They don't care about having a family or kids, and that's cool. Do your thing. But even like porn stars are regretting what they've done when they were younger, because it's affected them later on. You go ahead and try to be that boss bitch when you're young, and you can't have kids, it's going to severely affect you when you get to be older. You might be able to party and have a good time, but when you get up into that 50s, man, and you got like another 30 or 40 years left under your belt and you don't have kids and you ain't having the same type of men that you're used to having around you that are attracted to you anymore, when you're like 60, man, that's got to be like a really lonely experience, and you realize, yeah, I got all this nice material things, but I have nobody to share them with. And that's what I really want. Some women are cool with that, but I think the vast majority of women, they want companionship. Anytime I go on a dating site or try to date or whatever, they always want to settle down with somebody. They say it in their profiles, not trying to hook up, blah blah blah. They want to settle down. That's most women. They want one man. They want a family. That's their nature. The problem is they've been easily programmed by our toxic society and whatever feminism has evolved into. Like my whole point, my whole thing on I said take women's rights. Well, that's not gonna happen. My whole thing is you just need skin in the game, man, and you need to be held responsible and not bailed out like these banks. Um, Socially, man, if somebody's gonna help bail you out individually, that's cool, but society shouldn't be bailing you out. Um, and this welfare thing, it should be a limited thing. It shouldn't be your whole life. You should have to go to classes to get yourself on your feet. Some type of class. It doesn't have to be college. It doesn't have to be nursing. It could be trade. Like you become a welder. You're getting welfare to sustain your living, but you're getting trained to do something for society, whether you're a man or a woman. Um, but yeah, it's a lot of females have been fed a lie, and it's just being perpetuated even more. Even though when I was on Twitter, I tried to say this type of stuff, and a lot of women criticize me, like what they oh, you're an incel, or that's the big thing now is like that's kind of like how they used to make fun of our penises and shit. Now they say you're an incel. It's like, okay, yeah, I'm an incel, whatever. Yeah, go ahead, believe, go ahead, say that, whatever you want. I don't care. But it's a fact. It's the truth. You just don't want to hear it. Um, and you just don't love your kids. That's it. You just don't love your kids. You love yourself more than you do your kids. If you want to have kids, understand you're going to sacrifice things. I mean, that's what's going to happen. You're going to have to sacrifice your youth. You're going to have to sacrifice potentially your dreams. I mean, if you don't want to do that, you don't want to sacrifice, don't have kids. But there's sacrifices that you make. Like I said, the man sacrifices his life to protect the kids. Now, if there's no man, I'm sure that the woman will do that. But it's preferred to have the man protect the family. That's preferred. Um, it's just having a general understanding of human nature, female nature, and being and having an open mind and understand that in this society a lot of us have been programmed with this toxic garbage, and it's just getting pushed too far. I'm on Twitter saying like really extreme things. I'm saying like we should have red counties secede from blue states, um and blue states can go ahead and ban all guns in their state as long as they do that. I'm saying pretty misogynist things, because when you go one extreme, then people go the other way. I just want a balance, really. Like I'm looking at the stuff that I'm saying, I'm like, yeah, like taking women's rights. That's not gonna happen. Okay, that's not gonna happen. But can we come in the middle? Can we negotiate a little bit? You know what I mean? It's like that's my negotiation. Like, you want to take all guns, go ahead and take them where you're at, but let the red counties who believe in gun rights leave your state. Um, but the left don't want to negotiate at all. Um, and their way of life is unsustainable. It all leads to one place, a dead end, off a cliff. That's where they lead. And a lot of people don't see what's happening, and I've seen the deterioration of the society for over the last 40 years of my life. I've seen it way faster than most people because I've had to deal with some dumb crap when I was young. Not as bad, man. I hate when people, oh, you didn't have it so bad. Blah, blah. Listen, it was traumatic for me, man. It caused me some problems when I was younger. And in fact, I still have some problems that are lingering. I'll probably have these for the rest of my life. No matter how hard I try, I'll probably have some type of problems um that stem from when I was a kid that I'm trying to correct, like eating. I am emotional eater, and I used to drink and do drugs and all that crap. I've contained a lot of that. Even sex, even using sex to fill that. But there is people want to say, "Oh, you're a pussy," blah blah blah. Okay, man. Then don't listen to the people who have some mental problems. Why do they have mental problems? Look at the environment that they were raised in. That's the whole point I'm saying of this video. Look at the environment that they're raised in. It's completely toxic. And you wonder why they turn out to be deranged. And then they pump these kids full of chemicals on top of that. I need to end this quick, but the whole thing of not knowing what you are when you're younger, male or female or whatever. Kids don't know any different. They think that they're like a superhero when they're young. Their imagination is huge. They don't know. Just let them grow up. You want to do what you want to do when you're an adult. That's cool, man. You want to start mutilating yourself. Cool. Can't get tattoos till you're 18. You can't smoke cigarettes till you're 18. There's no reason to start the process of mutilating yourself when you're younger. That sounds like some Nazi shit to me. Some experimental shit. But it's just like, as a person, we all have testosterone and estrogen flowing through our bodies. Some of us males have more testosterone primarily, and some males have more estrogen. There's a hormonal imbalance. Not everybody's the same. I look at myself and I'm thinking, I usually feel most comfortable in my masculine, but sometimes my feminine comes out. Sometimes it comes out, and I don't mean it to, because I become agreeable. Because I don't want to have any type of drama or deal with that crap. I don't want things to escalate, so I just become agreeable. Sometimes I'm lazy. I want to play video games all day, not go nowhere, be a homebody. I think that's pretty feminine. Sometimes most of the time I'm fat. I prefer to be in my masculine. It's not just having a deep voice or whatever. But I don't always have that go getter, so it fluctuates for me. But I'm a man, right? I'm a man. I'm not trying to I'm not trying to project the opposite sex of how I feel in that moment. And I'm not fluid. I'm not gender fluid or nothing like that. It's just um like men aren't robots. Some men cry. Why would men cry? Well, even the most masculine man cry. If he was to see his kids killed in front of him, you think he's not going to cry? You think he's not going to have emotional pain because of that? We're not robots. So when you're crying and you're feeling empathy and you're feeling sad and stuff like that's a feminine feature. That's, you know what I mean? So it just, yeah. Anyway, this video is long enough.